Hello, everyone. Why is things sticking? Oh, there we go. There we go. Welcome to the chaos, y'all. We are live, unscripted, unfiltered, literal chaos. I'm AmyR. Welcome back to my face, my card making space, live. And the beginnings are always a joke. Unpaid intern sitting in the corner helping. I am scrambling. What else is new? What else is new? Amy's a mess and doesn't know what she's doing with her life. I have a rough idea. We're So yeah. Hello to everybody. All right. One thing I got. Yeah, one. It's Sunday, and on Sundays we go live, but also there's a flash sale at Waffleflower. I am not using any of the products. There's a lot of products in the sale. It's linked below. There's a link and there's a code. The code is just flash. I didn't do a graphic, nothing. I am flying by the seat of my pants. But a link to it and added a code. Lots of good stuff. And if you use the code, you get 25% off. And then one of the other products I'm planning on using today is also a freebie with purchase. That's a little cat and dog. Little die set. We'll get to it. Same thing. Didn't do up the graphic. Yeah. I'm a professional, y'all. You know, I do all these things so well. I do them so well. Hope the wind has calmed down. Yeah, the wind has definitely calmed down. You know?
But now it's uber cold.
Is it?
Yeah, it's like
that.
-21.
Ew, that makes sense. Yeah, it's cold. It's now really cold. So, yeah, I posted on my socials and stuff a couple days ago. Like, it was one of the reasons I didn't put up all the videos I was planning on doing this past week. It's been a rough week. I've had a lot on my plate, but I had, all these, I was like, I'm going to get so much done this day. And the wind was to the point where we had a wind warning. And that's why I put it up. Like, the wall behind me was like shaking. And we still need to go out and do like a 360 around our house to make sure that like all the shingles are still attached, etc. Because it was bad. And the unpaid intern earned his keep when he chased our recycling bin down the next block. Because yeah, the wind just picked it up and took it with it. Oh, it's been a lot. It's been a lot. So anyway, yeah, things have been a little bit crazy. And when it's that windy too, it gives me really bad headaches and now the wind, thankfully, it's died down. Everyone's okay, but now it's cold. What did you say it was?
-21.
Is that with even though there's no actual wind? Is it just -21 Celsius? Again, Celsius, we're Canadian, folks. Mine says feels like -24.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Maybe there's a tiny breeze.
Yeah, well, it's enough.
Yeah, it would be.
Because it says it's -18 and the chill is dropping at 6 more degrees. It's cold. It's gross. So he's got his little heater pointed towards him.
Yep.
I turned mine off for the moment because I sweat when I'm doing lives. I don't know why I get so stressed out about it. I just do. And I'm knocking things over. I'm making a mess and everything's... Anyway. Okay. So, let's get down to it. Shoved it this morning with the affiliate link. Is there any way we can verify you got the credit? If you clicked on one of my links before you place an order, should be good. Like, there's technically ways, but I don't want people's personal info, and I'm not even sure specifically with Waffleflower if I'd be able to verify. I'm not super worried about it. Every little bit adds up and helps, 100%. I'm just not gonna... Yeah. So, we'll be good. Everything will be good. Everything's good. Okay. I'm so glad you're okay. The wind didn't try and steal anything more than the bin. Oh, it tried. I think, did it knock over any of the other bins, or were they
There was
full
like
enough?
6 or so that were flying down the street.
No, but like ours. All our, like, we have like a garbage bin, a recycling bin, and then a green bin. It's like food waste and stuff. And they're all, because I'm in my garage, for those that might not know.
The recycling blew away and the garbage like fell over. But
It did fall over. Okay. Yeah. So the bins are like in front of the garage doors. So when it is windy, they're like rattling, and it's I don't even have words for how nuts this past week was in here specifically. Like, I could not work. Like, headphones weren't helping. It was howling. Like, he came down here and he was just like, it was howling. Like, and it even, because this is the garage, the door from here to our house, it's an exterior door, with the padding and everything. And when I finally gave up and I was like, I can't be in here, it's so bad, to even shut the door, you could like feel the resistance, and it was just going whoosh.
Yeah.
So we survived though. It's fine. It's fine. And yeah, all y'all down in basically anyone in the center US. I was looking at the wind map on my little app, and it's kind of cool. And then when you zoom out, so you can see the whole like global map and how the wind was coming down. So yeah, it was like coming straight up from the north down through us, and then all through the Midwest there down to Texas, and it was a interesting little thinger. Has there been any more word on Copic? A friend of mine just had about 8 dried up. Honestly, I have no idea. They can try contacting with anything to do with Copic markers. First step would be to contact the retailer purchase from, and then contact Copic. However, things I've been hearing the last couple years, Copic has not been very helpful, and that's frustrating. Like, I love my Copic markers. I've been using them for like 20 years. Close to 20 years now. Some of my Copic markers are 15 plus years old and still going strong. I will continue to use them. I just don't heavily promote them because of the issues they've been having last few years. They'd never, for over a decade, not an issue. And then a bunch of things changed. There's a lot of weird rumors surrounding it, specifically with like the company. It's called 2 that owns Copic. I honestly am not sure what happened. I was under the impression that it was kind of like a transfer of power within the company to just other, like, I think some people just retired and then it's family members owning it. I don't know. I am just speaking off whatever. And then I think also they had to change manufacturers because there was that huge earthquake. When was that? That big one in Japan.
That Fukushima really.
It would have been in the last 10 years.
Yeah,
in the last few years.
2011, I think, wasn't it?
Maybe later. Anyway, it's irrelevant. That might have played into them changing manufacturers, and there have been a lot of issues with cracks in like the caps and the bodies of Copic markers.
Yeah.
And as a result of that, they've been drying out. And once a Copic marker, any alcohol marker, once it dries out, you cannot refill it. I don't recommend you refill it. Because once it's dried out, once all of the moisture has evaporated from an alcohol-based marker, what is left is like just all of the like dye pigments and things. And they are like the dyes and the colorant. And it becomes very, very sticky. And if you try to refill a dried out alcohol-based marker, you are wasting the refill completely. It's chuck it. So yeah, and how do you know what batch you're buying? Yeah, and that's the problem. That's why I'm like, look, because I have all my I have almost all the Copic markers. I have a ton of refills, and like I said, I've been using them for a lot of years. Many, many years. And they were originally like the gold standard. Best of the best, last for forever, yada yada yada. And then the issues started happening, and the biggest problem was Copic not addressing it or not addressing it properly. So, I don't know. I'm not sure, and it makes me sad because it's like I am Copic certified. That's not a thing anymore. It used to be. It used to be. I got like certified so that I was doing all the things so I could properly teach Copic coloring. And then everything changed and blah, blah, blah. And now we have tons of other options. A lot of them are pretty great, yada, yada. And I'm just hoping that Copic figures out what the problem is, fixes it, and addresses it properly. So, yeah, like I've had a handful that have dried out on my end. However, some of mine sit for way too long. So some of it is probably my own problem, and then others I'm not sure because, again, some of mine are really old, like 10 plus years old. And so I'm not, and I never marked any of them like, oh, this one was bought this. So, would you replace Copic? I have. I did actually. I pulled out one whenever the last time I was using my Copics, which was not too long ago. And I pulled out one to do some coloring with, and it was dried out. So I did replace it. But for me, it's only like, I've only had like one here and there. You know, if I had had like multiples, trust me, I would be open about it. I'm not going to promote something that, yeah. So they used to be amazing. I'm not sure what's going on with them. And now we've got a lot of other options. Like I have Altenews alcohol markers. They're amazing. Love them. Absolutely love them. And Altenews awesome. And there's refills for those because they're alcohol inks. It's the same formula. So you can use them to refill their markers. So Altenews alcohol markers are great and they go with all their colors. Olo markers. Olos are different in terms of the way they deliver the ink. But I've done a bunch of videos. I have an entire playlist on my channel using Olos. I really like them a lot. I was hesitant at first because I was like, different. Not sure what I think about these. But I've been really enjoying them. And then they came out with 96 more colors, and I really want to get them. So, yeah, Olos are amazing. I would put those three kind of my top. Copic, Altenew alcohol markers, and Olos are like my top. I did a whole bunch of videos using what's the name of them? I have them. 1 second. I still have them. Like I didn't get rid of them. Here we go. Spectrum Noir. My brain would not. The tri-blends. I have an entire playlist using these. These are decent. They're not the greatest. I kept my expectations lower with these because it's 3 in 1. There's like 3 shades in 1, which was convenient. But I kept my expectations lower. I don't put these in the same category. Like you got Copics, and I'm still keeping Copics at the top, but with an asterisk about the issues, etc. So we got Copic, Olo, Altenew. I would put Altenew in that category because they've got the refills. So those 3. Spectrum Noir definitely lower on the tiers. And then the nibs on these are not the same as like Copic, Olo. Altenew's nibs are similar to the Copic and Olos, like the good quality nibs. Spectrum Noir nibs are not. They're like the felty kind, so they will like burst after a while. And I made the decision when I got Altenew's alcohol markers, because I had only got a couple sets and I really love them, and then I got more colors. I made the decision because I was like, I can't have all of them. I can't. I don't have the space. I don't have the time. So I'm gifting these to someone, my Spectrum Noirs, because they will get a lot of use out of them. And yeah, so Spectrum Noirs are whatever. I've heard a lot of chatter about the Ohuhu. Ohuhus, they used to be really affordable. They're not anymore. Like their price has doubled, if not tripled, in the last few years because they've become so popular thanks to TikTok. I already went on a rant about TikTok. I'm not doing it again. We're not going there. So the price of them has really gone up, and I don't have a desire to get into them because I don't need them. They're a bit more affordable, yes. That's all. That's it. I don't have any other thoughts on them because I have never tried one. I have no desire to because I've got Copics, I've got Olos, and I have Ultinu, and then there's other ones. So yeah, that is my kind of thoughts there on, and total sidetrack on the things. Yeah, have you tried the Olo algorithm? Yeah, an entire playlist. At least a couple dozen videos using them. And I have a playlist with the Ultinu alcohol markers, and I'll be doing more. Just, I need more time. I need more time. Doodly doodly. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah. Personal preference. Lots of options. And even what I personally love and use, other people have different opinions. That's okay. It's art supplies. So I like options for everyone, you know? So doodly doo. Yeah, because they've been compared to Copic, so people made them viral. Kind of like the Ohuhu are just like literally the cheaper version of Copic. But yeah, I just, not with the prices they have now. The prices they had before were more reasonable, but they've gone up, and it is what it is. But yeah, so that was that. I'm not even using any of those today. We're not coloring today. I went down that little rabbit hole from the comments. It's all good. So instead, though, we did die cutting. We'll do some ink blending. I have a mess, and same old here. Let me clean up a couple little things. Let me put some of this extra cardstock over here. Sometimes I still color with my Crayola. Exactly. My big thing is, and like it's happened in the card making space, but I've noticed it before, and I went on this rant last week's live. I'm pretty sure. I've done it many times, but my big thing is the gatekeeping and the BS of, almost like in some ways it becomes elitism in the art space when it comes to just art. Because card making is art, coloring is art, it's all art. That one too. The amount of people that try and like police the definition of art. And it's like, whatever. If you take your Crayola crayons and you are scribbling on the back of a receipt, it's art, man. I don't care. I don't care who you are. It's art. Enjoy it. Have fun with it. Crumple it up and throw it out after. Whatever. But yeah, Crayola makes some decent stuff. Like, I have fun with some of my like super cheap supplies that were a couple dollars, all the way up to my Copics and my Olos that like cost a large amount of money, and high-end art brands and all the things. I have fun with all of it because that's the point. Use what you got, use what appeals to you. There is no barrier to entry when it comes to art. There's my TED Talk. Okay. Okay. Let's just flip her down. There we go. And then let me zoom out a little bit. Okay. So, like I said, Waffleflower, back to the actual like making. Waffleflower, their January release, adorable. I forgot to link to the video I did. MP didn't put it in the chat. Look up when it'll be my recent video. That one with the girl cuddle up. Scroll down. Middle second row right there. That one. I did one video so far and made a cute little card. In fact, I can show it. I still have it. Or I did have it. It's here some. Oh, here it is. This one. I made this one. Okay. So that's the one I made. I was like last week. week and a half ago, whenever, using some of the new release, because this image was adorable. He linked to it in the chat. That's not this die set. Totally different thing. No, it's not. It's not. But it's part of the January release. We'll get there. You're learning. Anyway, he linked to the video for this. Because, yeah, super cute. No coloring. Talking about Copic, but you could. I used the coordinating stencil set. And I showed it in the video. And just inks to do all of this. So people that don't like to color, or are intimidated by color, or just don't want to, there is a stencil set for this whole stamp set and these images. But you could also not get the stencil set if you love to color, because you could color these with your markers or watercolor or anything, you know? Like, this would be really fun to watercolor. But yeah, I had fun with this one. So that video is already up, and yeah, just super cute, and a little kitty cat on the inside reading a book, because that's what they do, you know? Not like they would totally destroy it, and, you know, cats, man. Love it. So that was that video. And then, doesn't really look like much, but now we're going to die cut to make a scene, because again, the January release was, as usual, ridiculously amazing, and it made me super happy. And so I've been die cutting like all the things. The thing I want to know. So this is the cozy spot. This is the cozy spot die set. So there's this die set. So there's your like kind of floor. There's like a window frame, curtains, everything. And then this cute little recliner and a little blankie and like a little pillow. Super cute. And there's options for it. So there's the cozy spot. And then there's the cozy spot add-ons, which is you got a plant, your little monstera, a lamp, a plant pot, a hanging lamp that I love, but I ended up using this one. And then this is the one that, this is the cozy spot pets, just this little guy here of a cat and a dog. This one, if you order, I think it's like $60 or more of Waffleflower's January release, so anything from the release, you can get that. That's free. Just FYI. And I wanted to point that out because there's a bundle of these, like the cozy spot, the add-ons, etc. Oh, and the stencil set. We'll get to that. There's a bundle that includes this. But if you, whatever, you can get this for free while supplies last. There's no code. It just, if you order, you'll see it. It'll pop up in your cart, I think. The info is with this listing, the little cozy spot pets die. There's a kitty cat and a little puppy dog. So that's what we're using, because I wanted to make a little scene. And then with specifically the cozy spot, there is a stencil set as well. And the stencil set is just so you can add color to the different like portions. So you can use it to add some color and shading and depth and all the things. And it's all marked. So there's like even direction, like die cut recliner from LITE cardstock. And then it gives you like color. There's for the floor that has that, it's got different pieces. And then there's even a scene to put behind the window. So if you die cut and make a little window, you can add that. And then there's one for blanket, curtains, etc. You know? So that's just also convenient, because I love convenience. I love convenience. And then it's all same thing, like die cut large rectangle from white cardstock. And it's like trees medium, trees light, sky, you know? Waffleflower does all those things. And yeah, yay for no coloring. You could also use your alcohol markers or watercolors. Use whatever you want. You know, options. Or skip the stencils if it's not your thing. And ones like this I like because it's a nice way, because I'm going to use these pieces to add to our recliner, which we're going to get into. So, options. And there's tons of examples as well on all the sites that carry. I've got links to things below, but with all of the different listings, there's card examples, etc. So, I pulled out, because this is another thing I get a lot of questions about. Oop, my camera went a little nuts. Another thing I get a lot of questions about, the colored cubes, which I grabbed this. Where's the cube? There's the cube. There's the cube. I already did a video on these. An unpaid intern can pop that one into the chat too, I guess. And maybe save those links because I'll put them under in the description box later. This one, the color cube one, will be, I think, a live stream that I did. You'll have to scroll down. So, did already a dedicated video on these. Scroll. It'll have the color cubes as the like thumbnail image. Scroll back up. You're going way too far. Scroll up. Cards. That one. There we go. Yeah. So I did. I was like, I'm positive I did one. Yeah, I did like a live stream unboxing these. Yeah. So again, I'm not going to go into it. I went through it all. But I flipped through this and pulled out. So this is cube 3, I think. In fact, I have the sticker. This is cube 3. Yeah, I haven't put the stickers on it. So anyway, and then I was like, ooh, interior design. Looked at them all and I was like, that one just popped out at me. So then I was like, that is $5.92. So I pulled out $5.92. So there's the color cube. Just basic. Well, that's where we're keeping it for now. Keep that behind me. So I pulled this out and then I pulled out just random cardstocks from my stash. I didn't even link because a couple of them I don't even think are available anymore. Like I don't have links for, whatever. I do know this one is Concord 9th, Spice Cider. The green is Concord and 9th. I think, is it Evergreen? Is that the color? Yeah. Evergreen. And then I pulled out a Craft, an Ivory. This one is Simon's Greenleaf. And then a dark brown from my scraps. So I did some die cutting because I want to make a little scene. And I also pulled out the Happy Leaves texture die. I actually used this on the card I just showed. This one. I used it on the background because I do love me a good pierced texture. You can't go wrong. You can't. I love it. I love it so much. So I used it again and I die cut. This is just some light gray cardstock and I was like, this will be like the wall. That's the plan. This will be the wall behind the image. I am almost positive that this is 4 1/4. I didn't even measure, y'all. I'm just doing great today. Yes, this is 4 1/4 inches. So I just need to, I'm just going to cut this. I could use a wafer die, but I'm just going to cut this with my paper trimmer. This cardstock was larger than the actual panel die, which doesn't cut the edges. It just does the pattern. So I need to line things up. And of course it was crooked when I did it. That should work. That should work. So we do that. Yep. Maybe not. Maybe not. I might be overthinking this a little bit. I am overthinking it. Let me grab a rectangle wafer die instead of sitting here and making everyone just lose their minds. Any rectangle wafer die is gonna work. Is this one? This is my big one. Is this the A2 size one? It is. So that one's A2 size. Let's do it slightly smaller. There we go. Yeah, and then I can just cut the edges off that other one. It'll be fine. And then it'll give us a little bit of a frame. That'll work. That'll work. Okay. Like I did the white highlights on the card. The white highlights, like, make it, in my opinion. So I'm just, again, any A2 wafer die. We'll take that. I'll put a cleaner plate on top so I don't get any, like, grit from the die cut plate. There we go. And then yeah, we're going to do white highlights on these little die cuts. But first, we're going to add just a little bit of ink here and there to give things a little more depth and dimensions. There's our background, aka that'll be like the wall. Because I got that. And then I die cut the floor. So I'll have to cut the edges off once this is glued into place. Because then this will be the floor. And then I just die cut it from scraps of cardstock. So I did like a craft cardstock, an ivory cardstock, that bit of evergreen, and then this random brown that I've got a few sheets of. So that's going to be, and then that's, they have like some bougie, you know, you can get some like bougie wallpaper now with like all that texture and everything. Oh, love. Like, if I didn't have serious PTSD from the last time I hung wallpaper, which was when I was like a teenager, wallpaper's made such a comeback. And nowadays you have like peel and stick wallpaper, which is kind of cool. Okay. So yeah, that's going to be our background. And then I've got my little chair so you can kind of see the color inspo. And then I have my little plant. He's going to go in there. And I've got this little lamp. All the pieces are just not cooperating with me. But, you know, we've got a lamp, and then we'll have to figure out a sentiment, all the things. But it's going to hopefully come together. Hopefully it'll work. We'll just see. Let's adhere this, though, so that this is all in place, and then we can go from there. So I've got... My glue is not clogged. That's a first. That's a first. So yeah. The floor pieces and the background, I'm not going to bother with any sort of like ink blending. You could. You definitely could. I just don't want to. You know? I'm traumatized by wallpaper. Never again. I know, right? Like, yeah. It was not a fun process. And I never want to do it again. And I've, you know, having to like remove wallpaper and all, no, don't want to. But then something will pop up in my feed with new, you know, the more modern patterns we have now and all the things. And I'm just like, oh, that would be really nice. Like, but then it's like, no, I would end up buying it. And then the rolls would just sit because I would never get around. I don't have time to do anything, let alone like start messing around with wallpaper. I gotta remember, does it go this way or the other way? It fits a certain way. This is how it would go. Yeah, the narrow part to the top, so it builds the perspective. I seen someone on social media trying to pull some wallpaper with the caption it was supposed to be removable, is pulling off paint. Oh yeah, and that's part of it. The ones that say they're removable, I take that with a grain of salt. Like, I think it would just depend on the surface and just all of that. And I'm like, yeah. Like, no. As far as I'm concerned, wallpapers, no matter what they say, it's basically permanent, you know? Or it's not sticky enough and people post photos and showing it's like starting to like curl off the wall. That would drive me insane. So yeah, no wallpaper. Not for me anyway, but man, they do make some really pretty wallpapers. And the unpaid intern is totally tuning me out because no, I'm not bad. It's like I get all these, like I was talking about, like wainscoting and like all and painting the like, you know, our whole house is white. Yeah. I have done nothing since we moved into this house. Yep. You know, I would like to, but yeah. One thing at a time. I'm still working on like breaking down the boxes. This is, you know, does anyone else have collections? You keep all the boxes? You know, the box from your old iPhone from like 12 years ago? You still probably have it, don't you? Don't you? You don't even have the phone anymore, but you've got the box. I don't judge because I too have those boxes, and I have been making a point of breaking them down and recycling them because it was bad. I don't know why I was hoarding them. I don't know. It's ridiculous. Anyway. Command strips are supposed to be rent or safe, remove use peel. Oh yeah, command strips, if you are not super careful when you're removing them, like you literally have to have insane amounts of patience and just go super, super, super slow. And even then, if they've been on the wall for a long time, that adhesive that they put in like command strips, it does age and like crustify. I pulled out a pack from some that I've had for I'm not sure how long because I wanted to put up a couple little hooks, and the release paper just fell off because it had like crustified. It's one of my biggest pet peeves, let alone removing those darn things. Okay, get that into place. So there's our like ground. Make sure it's all popped in. There we go. Get in your place. Okay, there we go. So got that, and then the bits hanging off, I'm just going to trim these off with scissors. Okay. I just grabbed a ton of them. Like, it has been the process over the last, 2 or 3 months? Because, like, I kept boxes for everything. I have had boxes for everything. So pulling, like, boxes out of our closet. I've had boxes here. Tons of boxes in here, of course. And just breaking them down and recycling them. It feels so good to just have more space and have less crap, making dust. Okay. Did you sneak into my house to see my box closet? No, seriously. I had boxes up in here, like piled up nearly to the ceiling. It was, yeah. The unpaid intern has been helping a lot with breaking down boxes.
So many boxes.
Yep. Fun times. Okay. So we got our little, and I got schmutz on it, but they won't matter once we get things into place. So we got that. And then we need to add a bit more depth to this guy. So I need where's my grip mat? There we go. You usually have bloody knuckles removing command strips. Oh yeah, removing command strips. I get that same anxiety that I do from opening up a bottle of wine, or the rare times, not actually champagne. We're not that fancy. We don't buy the expensive stuff. But I'm always terrified for whatever reason it's going to hit me in the head, in the eyeball. Always the eyeballs. And the same thing with removing a command strip. You start pulling it, and when it gets near the end, I'm always like, and it usually ends up popping off and hitting you right in the knuckle. It's the worst. It's a travesty. Yeah. Okay, we need ink. We need some ink. Maybe. We'll see. Let's start with that. We need some ink. We need some blending brushes. Where's all my blending brushes? Here we go. This'll work. Okay. Or the canned biscuits. I haven't bought those in years, but yes. Those things just explode. It reminds me of that scene from Elf with the wind-up toy. And he's always like, every time. I just love it. Favorite. No, it's Kate. I lost the stencils already. There they are. Okay. So, we're going to do this little bit of very, very simple dimension. And I loves it. Get where you belong. Stop being annoying. Okay. Oh, and there's even a piece for the, so I can make, smart. I was wondering what this little ragged that's for the little, we'll make those brown. That, okay. So we'll line that guy up. Get in your place, okay? Get in your place. There we go. Much better. Where's my little ink stand? There he is. I don't do sports with balls. My face seems to be magnified. Same. I had so much, and I didn't know what it was, like anxiety, like playing baseball, things like that. I don't like it. I don't like it. It just, I would always try to find the position, somewhere in the outfield, but always like on the opposite side from normally where, you'd be hitting. Cause dudes, I couldn't do it. And I have been hit by baseballs and I don't like it. I don't like it. Okay. So anyway, this is going to be very tone on tone because this is the same color of cardstock and ink. So, like I always say, like the broken record that I am, um, this does dry back. And what you see at first always is when the ink is still wet and it's darkest. And when it fully dries, it can end up being either a lot lighter than you think to even not showing up at all. Just it would depend on the type of ink, the color of ink, and the color of cardstock you're using, all the different factors. But I'll start with that spice cider, and then to just intensify it a bit, I can go in with just a bit of cayenne, but this I'm going to keep lighter, like not super heavy handed, because this is a much darker color. So I'm just going to like kind of tap it off here and then just bring in a bit, like really, really light handed. Just taking whatever ink is left on this lid just to give it that little extra something, like so. And we can go in with that. A little bit there. A little bit there. And then, try not to get my elbow and the ink pad. There we go. I missed. So satisfying. Yeah. Yeah. Breaking down those boxes, man, and recycling them is one of the just best feelings. See already how much that changes. Huh? Decluttering is fun, and that's my mantra for this year. Just bit by bit, getting rid of all the boxes, getting rid of just stuff. Got too much stuff. Okay. For this, yeah, I'm going to go in a little heavier handed with the cayenne. Again, not a whole lot though. Just that bit. Because this will add that little extra. Love it. Love it. In fact, I'm going to take the spice cider again. Just and again, this might be pointless. This might dry completely in the end and not really show up. But also this set, like in the add-ons and everything, would be so much fun with pattern paper. Like, I was digging through my pattern paper before I went live, and I was like, oh, like die cutting this from pattern paper. Talking about wallpaper, like doing the background with pattern, like this would be a fun way to use up a lot of pattern paper too, is because you could just build little scenes, It's like a little dollhouse, but with cards, and I love it so much. So that could totally be a thing. Just, yep, I like it. And then we just need to do those little parts. So with those, I'll just take a brown. Okay, I need a brown for that one, which will be nutmeg. Which means I need. That's what I need. And then where's my little? There's my little cloth. Yeah, that'll be fine. I'm making a big old mess. What else is new? There we go. Look at my little chair. I did that. I made it. It's so fun. How cute is that? Seriously. Seriously. Okay. So those are those parts. And then what I want, I'm going to quickly wipe this just because I probably have brown and potentially some orange ink on it. So then we have a chair so far. We need, here's my other cloth. This one will work. This one should work. Okay. I know, right? I kind of want like just, yeah. Like if we had this, we don't have the space for, we don't have the space for anything. Like a big, comfy recliner.
Yeah.
You know?
Nice.
It'd be so nice. We don't have the space.
We don't.
We have no space for things like that. Okay, so we got that. And then, oh, there is one for the blankie. The blankie. It's supposed to go like that. Love it. Love it. So with the blankie, I think we'll just add just a bit of pebble, I'm thinking. Yes. I have like cords and everything in the way driving me nuts today. What else? What else is new? Honestly. Yeah, I can use this one. I was raised by depression kids, a silent generation, everything. I mean, everything that could be repulsive. This was saved. It's taken me years to break the mentality. Oh yeah. No, I hear you with that one. It's not fun. And I'm all for saving like certain things. I hold on to like all the things I've purchased from IKEA for the most part. if there's a way to like, and usually it's in here. And that too, that's where it sucked because I did have a bunch of stuff that got damaged when it flooded in here. And it was a bunch of the IKEA stuff that I had like propped up against the bookcases and different things. And yeah. So, but yeah, I repurpose so many things because it's like, ooh, that'll work in my craft room. Oh, that'll work in one of the kids' rooms. Whatever. Actually, I don't need this on the grip mat. I'm just going to add some pebble ink. Kind of like that. And then maybe along the bottom. Just blend it a little bit. Just to give it that little extra. And then that'll dry back a bit too. So we got that cute little, yeah, that cute little blankie. Again, powder and paper would look great. It would look great. Oh, and the plant pot, I can add a bit of that same pebble ink while I'm at it. What's a base you're doing the stencil? You mean this? If you're talking about this is a grip mat, and it's, I think it's linked in the supplies. Did I link it in the supplies? I'm pretty sure I did. Yeah, it's a black grip mat. And it's only black because of the, it's clear. The mat itself is actually, it's clear photopolymer. But it's linked. It's linked in the supplies. Okay, make sure I have the right. Okay, back with the pebble ink. This is a little plant pot for my plants. And just gonna blend a bit there. And there on each side of it. We're not going to even see much of this because I'm planning on putting it like kind of behind the chair. Or it might go right there, the plant, and then the, yeah. So we got that. And then we have the little band, which I die cut from just the same craft cardstock. So I was like, that'll work. And then I die cut the top portion. I just die cut a scrap of just dark brown, which I'm going to, there's my scissors, to trim because it cuts right up to the edges. So you just got to snip those off. So then I have this little piece, and that's going to go right there, like that. So then, only type of plant I can keep alive, herd. Most of I have a few house plants I've kept alive. I get eye rolls from some plant aficionados that I happen to know that are kind of disgusted with me that I haven't repotted them and, like, you know, given them fresh soil and things. And I was like, man, if they can survive me at my worst, they don't just, you know, like, there's no point. There's no point. There we go. So then I added that little bit. And then we'll add the little decorative band to our little plant pot. But yes, making like little plants from paper, so much more satisfying than doing it like than real plants. House plants anyway. I've got my few. Okay. So there's our little plant pot. There we go. Does a Pebble ink have a bit of a green? It kind of does. Pebble has a bit of a smidge, especially compared, because like this is more of a gray kind of shade of cardstock. Again, this one I don't have a link for. This is ivory, an ivory cardstock, so you can definitely see it's got a bit of a green undertone to it. Like, yeah, the ink itself is a little more, just a smidge. So I have those, and then where's my little plants? So these guys we definitely want to add some ink to give them more life. Yeah. So we'll use those. And the green brush. Okay. Sucking on mermaid's tail. Snake plants are also very. That was my first foray into getting house plants. Was a snake plant. I've had other like house plants many years ago, and killed them all. And then I got a snake plant. How many years ago was it? Like 4 or 5 years ago, maybe.
Something like that.
It's been a lot of years. He's still alive.
He is.
He's doing great. And the snake plant, the big one with that one is, yeah, you barely water it. You kind of just need to leave him alone. Ignore him. Just ignore him. And then, yeah, snake plant grew to like several other. I've purchased many plants. My personal thing is I like to purchase house plants from Costco. You know, 1, cheap. 2, if they can survive inside a like windowless warehouse, you know, I was like, they can survive me. So most of my Costco plants are doing just fine. And then I don't feel so bad because usually they're quite cheap. Okay, so avocado. We'll do sort of the stems, and then I just kind of drag some ink when there's not much left on the brush. Like, you notice I'm not going in like straight from like ink pad straight to this. I tap it off. You can have inside of the lid, any like whatever, and then that way, you're not going in with like straight ink on the very end of those bristles, and it just makes it a little softer. So you don't get weird little streaks, things like that. However, you can kind of go with that with things like little die cuts that are meant to be leaves. Because, you know, any little streaks in that, it's like, oh, it was meant to be like that. It's meant to be like that. You know, leaves have little striations and different things to them. And I'm sure there's like all kinds of like technical scientific terms for it all. I don't know any of that. I was like, it's a plant. This is green. Okay. That one. Okay, and then we'll go in with the darker, the artichoke. Hello, hello. So we got artichoke. Just using the same brush. And we'll go in and kind of go like that. And then this one, we'll add that in there. You don't need to be super precious about it because it just doesn't matter. It'll all soften a bit and look fabulous. Dupe. And then wipe this up before I get it where I don't want it. There we go. And then, okay, so we've got our little plant pot. We got our little pieces. And it just makes me, like, that's so cute. And if you wanted to, you could totally, like, die cut more, you know, and really make this full. Do whatever you want, you know. You could also cut the bottoms off and, like, stagger and, like, make it taller. Die cutting, you can do whatever you want. So, to adhere them, because there's a little, just barely see it, there's like a slit in there. So I am going to, like, you could adhere it. In fact, I probably should have saved the brown piece. I'm just going to gently peel it off because this will make it actually a little bit easier. Just be careful. Oop. Okay. Because I can just do this. Yeah, and that brown piece can get adhered on top. So we take this like that. Another option, this is again, speaking of, you know, the whole combo at the beginning of Copic markers. In fact, I can just take a marker. I can just take a marker and do that instead of adding that extra layer that I, any marker, or it doesn't even have to be an alcohol marker. Just any dark marker will work. Let's just color that for the dirt. There we go. That works. There, I used a Copic marker. Such coloring. Many techniques shown today. I do love with orchids. Yeah, orchids are beautiful. Orchids are finicky. I have not.
What's that orchid that only blooms once every few years at night?
Oh, I have no idea. There's all kinds of crazy plants out there. But orchids are finicky. They had some really neat ones when I went to one of the greenhouses and they had some like crazy orchids. Like the one was like neon. It was amazing. And I almost got it, but one, the price was a little bit, and two, it's an orchid. And I was like, I will bring this home and it will die. Also, cleaning up alcohol markers, especially from like a glass surface, hand sanitizer or any alcohol ink for that matter, just right there. And it's gone. And we're good. Okay. So we've got our plant. Look at, ooh, he's just fabulous. Love it. And we have our chair. And we've got our little like dirt. And then I have the little lamp, which is going to go like right there. And then we have to do like a sentiment. But we've got the lamp. Yeah. Am I going to add any ink to him? I mean, we can add a little bit just to keep everything a little more consistent. So that would be evergreening. I am going to trip on that internet cord. Oy, oy, oy. Okay. So we have our little lamp stand. And then this says it is adorable. I love it. I love it so much. It's just cute and not too finicky either. Like sometimes some die sets can get really, really like tons of little pieces, which I don't mind. It just depends on my mood. But like this set is, or these sets, I'm just going to carefully because I can see it. I missed the very edge of the cardstock and it was bugging me. There we go. Now we're good. All right. Yeah, the set's not too finicky. And then the stencil gives it the extra, yada, yada. All right, let's take the evergreen. Again, this is a fairly dark cardstock. So this is going to dry quite a bit, but it does give it some depth. So there we've got our little lampshade. Missed something there. What ink pad can I use with using Copic markers? There's tons. That's the one I use most of the time. Simon's Premium Black ink. That's the one I've been using. Lawn Fawn has a really good one. There is the Memento Tuxedo Black. I stopped using that years ago because it drove me nuts. It wasn't black enough. But nowadays with stamp positioners, you could stamp it multiple times. If you stamp an ink multiple times and are planning to color it with alcohol markers, you either need to heat set it or let it dry fully. Because when you are inking up and stamping multiple times, that ink is layering, layer, layer, layer. And then you immediately go in, especially with an alcohol marker, it is going to pick up those top layers of your stamped ink because it ain't dry and it's going to smear everywhere. So generally heat set it, but Simon's Premium Black ink, been loving it. Also with Simon's stamp, the Rainbow Splash Black ink. That's another one I was testing out quite some time ago and I was loving it. Worked great. And then Lawn Fawn has a really good black one as well. You want to avoid oil-based inks, pigment inks, etc., because those, especially anything with a pigment in it, the pigment is sitting on top of the cardstock, and the alcohol marker is going to grab those pigments and smear. Ooby. So we got this, and we got this, and gonna add my little lampshade, like so. There we go. Just like that. Got those little bits of glue kind of oozing in the detail. There's my fingernail. There we go. There we go. So we have a lamp and our chair. The plant will also go behind. And this is why I didn't do the window. I was thinking about it, but yeah, because then we got we got a little kitty cat, and we got a little puppy dog, you know, which these guys, we're going to give them some form of little white highlights with a gel pen. So to do that, I'm going to take, and I am going to adhere, we'll adhere the little blankie to our chair so that it stays in place. Like that. Here we go. Stick that right there. Perfection. Yes. Stamping with the lighter dye ink goes over the image after coloring with the black ink. You totally can. Some people will trace, like stamp with a lighter ink, color with alcohol markers, and then trace with a black, like fine liner. I don't have the patience for that. Don't want to do it. Others will stamp, color, and then restamp over it. I rarely do that because unless you make sure it is 100% positioned both times, especially the second time, nothing would be worse than spending all that time coloring and then you go to restamp it with the darker ink. Or what I really like to do is stamp with a lighter ink, color with alcohol markers, and then after everything's dry, heat emboss the image on top. So gold heat embossing. Oh, love it. But unless you get it exact, and that's why I don't do it very often because it's like, I ain't spending all that time. So, but again, personal preference and all the things. So yeah, we got our little scene, and then we could do kind of like that cozy up sentiment, which we could do with like maybe the brown cape. We'll get to that. Let's start like adhering, and then we'll start adding little highlights. There we go. No, I'm not going to put googly eyes. It's not that type of card. It would look completely out of place. I do love me some googly eyes, but yeah, not on this one. I'll let that hang off just a bit. It'll look okay. Just got our little plant stand. Love it. And then we've got our little lamp, which you could also, if you wanted to get fancy, you could mask off and do some like light ink blending to make the illusion of the lamp being on. I'm not going to do that because then I would also have to add like, you know, it. I'm not going to do it. Not going to do it, especially not when I'm live, but you could. It could be fun. You could have some fun with it. Gonna get my lamp in place. We'll stick him like right there. Just like that. And then my little chair. We'll stick him like right there. Because in my plan, got a little dog. The cat, of course, is most likely going to be sort of up there, you know, eyeing up the plant that he wants to most likely chew on, because cats. My one grand, I guess he's our grand cat. He likes to gnaw on one of my fake plants. Thankfully the fake one, not any of the real ones, but you'll just see him sitting there and he's just like, it's like, dude, oof. Carefully reposition that so we don't get glue everywhere. We're good. We're good. Crisis averted. Yep, we're committing because I don't want to get glue everywhere. But yes. And yes, people that have plants or that have plants and pets, you got to watch out because certain ones are toxic. So you always want to avoid that. Okay, just got that. And then we have Puppy and the cat will stick like, yeah, he's just going to be hanging like right there. And then, yeah, I guess we could put the cat maybe on the back. Do I want to put him on the back of the chair? He could. Because then we could have the puppet. I want to say, because I've got like something, you know. And then the sentiment, if we put it, we could put it there. Could put Blossom Day. No, I don't want to do that one. I want to use, this is from the Simple Joy Sentiments, which goes with, and I used this with the last card that I showed that he had linked to in the chat. And that video, when I remember, I will put it in the description box. But yeah, let's do Cozy Up, because that'll be, we can white heat emboss this onto, I think I have some more of this dark brown cardstock. I have like a random little scrap. Ah, that'll work. That'll work. So we can just white heat emboss this sentiment. So anti-static powder tool. And then the stamp, we will just stamp it onto this cardstock with some clear. I gotta move so many things out of the way here. I don't have any space left. There we go. There we go. There we go. More brushes. All right, got some white embossing powder. I've got a pile of things in the way. What else is new? Honestly, what else is new? That over there. There we go. Look at that. Okay. That and that. And there it is. Clear ink. Okay. We're going to stamp. We'll move him over. We'll stamp our sentiment. So I did the anti-static embossing powder because that keeps embossed powder from clinging where it doesn't belong, especially for me. The static cling of everything being in a drier climate and just this garage in general. And you could totally use, in fact, oh, here we go. Because people have been asking me about this. I don't have a link to it. Add MISTI LITE to the, I haven't done a review, anything. The MISTI LITE, I'm not getting into it. I've used it a couple times, but what I can do is stick it to here. And you just, oh, you got to make sure that you have the right side of things. So it says clear and one side's rubber. So this is the clear side. Unpaid intern supplies. You were so zoned out. Go to the supplies and look up MISTI LITE. MISTI LITE. Where's my, I can just use packaging because my stamp is dirty, but I'll use the stencil. So I'm all over the place. Okay. Does it say MISTI LITE? Yep. Yep. There you go. Okay. So then that way I can just stamp this more than once. So line up my stamp. Doop. Like that. And since I'm using like this cardstock staying in one place, the tool is staying in one place, so I can just go like that. Stomp it. Can do it a second time. Stomp it. Convenient. There we go. So there's my super in-depth. You linked to the wrong one, by the way. You linked to like a bundle. Yeah, I just wanted just the MISTI LITE stamping tool. Boop. And then tap on the white embossing powder. Where's my little pokey? There we go. I can use my tweezers. And I still managed to get just a littlest bit right there. Can move that with my tweezers. Yep, it's decent. Okay. Question overall, what do you think of the MISTI? It's fine. Like I said, I don't have any else to say. I haven't been using it much. I've been using it more to just stamp my handmade stamp, buy stamp on the back of my cards. It's fine. I need to play with it more before I decide whether or not I'll do a dedicated like review of it. But for things like that, what I just showed, convenient. Especially for me, and I don't have a lot of space to work on. So that's an extra. Consider it like being able to pull that, you know, small instead of my bigger MISTI where I have to clear all the space out. But yeah, like it's a decent little tool, you know. I was curious, but I definitely feel like I need to play with it more. Yeah, I just need to play with it more. I haven't had it for that long. because I'd bought it when it was released, and then yeah, and I lost my cloth. That's down here. Okay. Find myself reaching for the Misty Light often for quick stuff. I like it. Yeah, like that's mainly what I saw for me personally, the appeal of this is for like what I just did. You know, when I just want to stamp a sentiment and heat emboss it or whatever. You know, stamp it on a piece of cardstock, or if I'd say I'd wanted to stamp it specifically, I wouldn't stamp it because like this background with the piercing, it wouldn't be like solid. But I could have like lined up my stamp, used this, you know, and it gives you the ability to stamp anything more than once, which is nice. Obviously, if you have a full MISTI, etc., that's the whole point. But yeah, for little like sentiments, etc., just quick little things, so I don't have to pull out my MISTI. It's like, oh, doop, 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 stamp it. And I've just been keeping this kind of in front of me. Yeah, but yeah, such an in-depth review. I know, but so far so good with this little thing. So yeah, I know there's other, I think, reviews out there, probably, most likely. It always takes me longer. I especially like anything like tools, etc., because so much of that stuff does not get sent to me. So I order it, and then it takes its while to get up here, and then I need time to play with it. Because people have been asking me about that Misty Light from the second it was released, and I was like, I don't have it, don't have it, don't have it. And then when I finally did receive it in my order, yeah, I've been playing with it and haven't had a chance to like really flesh out my thoughts, if that makes sense. That's not the one I want. I need the coordinating die. There we are. It's got our little coordinating wafer die, so we can die cut this guy. But yeah, I think it'll be, personally for me, I wanted it because I was like, I think it'll be a handy little thing to have. It's definitely not a replacement or a if a person was thinking like, should I get that, like the Misty Light instead of a MISTI, get the MISTI. You know, get an actual stamp positioner, you know, versus that, because that doesn't even fit an A2 size like stamp. So yeah, I would say get a MISTI or a mini MISTI. But if a person was choosing between a MISTI or a mini MISTI, I would say get the MISTI because that gives you the most options. Or a stamp wheel. We got options, man. Which is what I love. So yeah. Perfection. And I can probably get another layer. I can, with what's left of my little scraps here, I can get another layer or two to build up a little bit more depth to my sentiment. Let's got that. There we go. That's why I use up all my scraps. And I could probably get a third because, you know, the rule of threes. And when you've got a touch of OCD, it's like needing to do things 3 times. Okay. There we go. Perfect. Let's got our little sentiment. Do not lose that wafer die. Let's put him back in the packaging with the stamp set. So we got our little sentiment. And then we're going to glue that to our little die cut extras. He's going to go there. Yeah, I think I want the sentiment like down there. I think that's where I'm going to put it. So we got that. We'll add a little bit more. Boop. I have a MISTI and a stamp wheel too. I want something to put on my desk. I was planning on getting many. Yeah, you could look into the LITE. He's a convenient little thing, honestly. And I have a couple mini MISTIs. I think it might have been. I think my first might have been a mini MISTI and not the MISTI. I forget because they're pricey. And when those first came out, all those years ago, I did not have like the budget to even afford them. And I think my first one might have been the mini. I can't remember now. It's been that many years. And yeah, I can't remember the last time I've used my mini MISTI. I just pull out the full size one for everything, and I use my stamp wheel 2.0 for everything else. But again, I do this as a job, so it's a little different. Okay, so we've got our sentiment. Yeah, we're gonna put the cat in the back there because of course that's where he would be. He would be lounging, lording over, especially the dog, 100%. Just like lounging there, like that. That's just what he would be doing. Fully. And then the puppy dog, he's a very good boy, of course. As all dogs are.
They all are.
They all are. They're always very good boys. Even when they're not, they're always good boys. So yeah. So he's just strategically placed right there to cover up the schmutz I got on the die cut. And then our sentiment. Actually, I want it right there. That's where I want it. I'm just moving everything around wherever it looks to me. Then we got our sentiment, like so. That I can put a magnet on top of. Speaking of, where they go, there's my magnet. Stick that on there. I do need a card base. That would help, you know.
Always helps.
That always helps when you're making cards. It's like a card base for the card. Oh, my hands feel weird. It's sticky. Okay. So we have a card base. This is why I cut that. Yeah, so the card base will frame that up a little bit. It gives an extra little pop of white too, which will be nice. And I'm going to add the white highlights. We're getting there. We're getting there. Ooh, I might also... I might. We'll see. Maybe not. There was something else I was going to add, but I was like, maybe not. Okay. We need to add, speaking of... Okay. Let's just add, I like this, wishing you comfort and good company. And since we're speaking of it, we can use the MISTI light for that too. So, let's move that over. It works real nice on a grip mat. So we have the inside of my card, like that. And then we can use the MISTI light again. So again, you gotta make sure the word clear. So we can do it either way. I could do it upside down or whatever. But I can just... Let's stick them like this. Let's line up. I'm going to line up the score line of the card base. So we got that. And then we can just go like that. Make sure it's straight. Pick it up with that. And then I will stamp this with, let's use that, maybe the spice cider on the inside. Yeah, let's do the spice cider just to bring in more of that orange again. Doop, 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 doop. Here we go. And then, yeah, if you don't have a grip mat, and see I didn't stamp it perfectly, the whole point with this is you can put magnets. There's a mat, there's all the things, and I've done kind of both. But as long as this stays in place, it doesn't really matter. So ink that up again. And then because it's all in the same spot, there you go. Love it. Okay. Wipe that off. Good to go. So, I lost that sound. That one doesn't matter. That one doesn't matter either. So, I managed to get ink literally everywhere. It's like on the bottom of this ink pad. Okay. So, there's what will be the inside of the card. So now we can close it. And then gonna add our card front like so with its cute little scene. Love. And then we will add the gel pen highlights, which will be the like finishing touch, and we'll add quite a bit to everything. Especially when you're doing just a bunch of die cuts. It's amazing what a gel pen will do. So, and the A2 size card, for me, that's just standard. Most of the cards I make are A2 sized, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And again, do what you prefer. People get really hung up on card sizes and what they, and get mad at me because I don't do other sizes very often. And just like I was saying at the beginning, you do you. There we go. So we got that. Now, white gel pen. Hey lady, don't you read the chat? I don't know if you're trying to be rude or funny, but when you say turkey finger and big glasses, I don't need to acknowledge every single thing. That's why I wasn't, because I wasn't sure if you were trying to be rude. Anyway, back to what we were doing. My preferred jelly roll, white gel pen, and just random little kind of highlights. We'll put a few little dots as well. Like that. You put one down the spine as well. And then just kind of continue. And I try to always, when I'm doing a gel pen, stuff like this, I try to make a point of starting somewhere and then working away from it so that I'm not like getting my hand over, because gel pens take just not very long to dry. It doesn't take, a crazy amount of time, but you can smear it, and I have many, many times. And see how the white just totally makes everything pop a little bit more. Ah, there's someone for you too. Bye-bye. Yep, she was being miserable. So sorry you didn't get the attention you wanted. Moving on. Okay. There we go. Like that. Like that. We'll add a little bit to the stems there. I always overdo the gel pen. Sometimes it's you can do a little bit, you can do a lot. Kind of depends. Now, here's like if I was to just leave it right now, like I did all this and then I did nothing else, it looks weird, because it's like, oh, there's all these little highlights and dots, and then the rest of this card has nothing. There's no highlights. So it looks, so you want to kind of keep that same energy, so if you start with something, continue through. However, I did a lot on these leaves. I'm not going to do like everywhere else, like dur, 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 dur. 2 years, huh?
Yeah, if there was subscribed to your channel for 2 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. That takes all kinds. Anyway, for the little dirt, tiny little, oop, because I was talking for too long, tiny little dots. We'll just add a few little boop, 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 like that. And then we can go like this. And go like that. And then for like the flooring, we can also add a few little, and going in, you take sort of your cues from the image. So like with the flooring, we've got the lines. So it's like, oh, I would just follow that. Hopefully that makes sense. So it's like, oh, we'll do another one like right there. Like that. Put one right there. And then like the carpet here, or a little mat. Like that. And then we can do the same thing. You won't see it as much, but you can see it in real life because this is ivory, so white on ivory doesn't show up super obviously. Palette papers. Yes, Tim Holtz pattern paper. I was in the chat yesterday when he was live. It was fabulous, and I don't have them. I don't even know why I bother say this. Like, I wasn't planning on ordering them. You guys know I love me some pattern paper, so I most likely will probably order them, but yeah. So just like everything else, it will be a while before they get to me. So I haven't ordered them yet, but I most likely am going to, because they are beautiful. Like, I nearly ordered, like, started ordering like the fabric, and what am I going to do with the fabric? I don't sew. I don't sew, but I was like, man, this is nice fabric, you know? So I'm just kind of finding some spots, turning my cardstock so that my hand doesn't get where I don't want it, so I don't smear anything. Like, this still dries pretty quickly, but I have like warm, my hands are warm, my skin's oily, and like if I was to like rest my hand on top of this, it's dry now at this point, it's dry, but I would rather not risk it. Because I've done it. Especially like I'm always moving. I'm like, do, 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 do. And then my hand. And then I would move my hand and I've smeared it. I'm a professional. But yeah. The palette papers from Tim Holtz. They're very nice. So yeah. And a lot of them would work really well. Use one of those, because we were going on about that. I was like, oh, some of these patterns would make amazing wallpapers. Again, am I actually gonna? But yeah, you could do like pattern paper. The whole thing could be done in pattern paper. You know, whatever floats your boat. Okay, so we got that one. Let's like, we'll put one right there. Just kind of following the cues. And then we'll put one right there. Doop, doop. I'll follow that. And see how it just starts to make everything pop, you know? Also, going back to that little troller, one of my biggest pet peeves, anyone who says, hey lady, to me, I have a name. It just, one of my biggest pet peeves. That one, no matter what, even if it's meant, when someone's like, hey lady, I just immediately gets my hackles up. Okay, back to what we were doing. Adding the highlights. Do, do, do. Right there. Yep. And then we can add a little bit like that. And see how everything's just like so. A picture on the wall would be cute too. Oh yeah, it would be. You would need to move some things around. Let me put the lid on this first. I'm not fully done, but I did pull it out. I just didn't use it. Where did I put it? It's here. It's part of in the January release that's linked below. Yes. So in the January release is also this. And yes. So this is meant, I've done an entire series. I have a bunch of videos on the Waffleflower postage collage. Postage collage die set and all the stencils. Bunch of videos. And then in the January release, they released this little frame set, which I was like, oh yes, how cute are these? And they're sized to fit the post collage. So you could totally use them. Like, I'm not gonna, but, and it would just kind of get covered up. So that's why I didn't bother today. But you totally could. And then there is, and they don't look like anything. But if you look in the actual like release, you'll see them. There's the postage collage meow and postage collage woof. So there's a cat themed postage collage and a dog themed. So you could do any of those and then you could frame them. Stop it. Stop it. It's so cute. It's so cute. I love it. I love it so much. So yes, you could build a scene and have like a framed little puppy dog or framed little kitty cat or whatever you want. Doesn't matter. You can take some pattern paper, take a stamped image, and pull a frame and add to your scene. It's adorable. I love it. No notes. It's so good. Like Waffleflower has been just knocking it out of the park when it comes to their releases. And yeah, the frames, I was like, oh, 100%, I need them in my life, along with the all of it, the entire release. Like I tell them this, I tell Neenah at Waffleflower and several I think Kirsten was the one I was talking to just the other day, just in email. And I keep telling them every month, I'm like, stop it. Stop asking me to choose. Stop releasing such amazing products. You guys, you're killing me, Smalls. It's so good. It's so good. And I love how a lot of it builds on previous things. That's another big thing that I just really, really love because it's like, ooh, I'll pull this out and use it again. And oh, this goes with this, or this will go with something that came out 2 years ago. Love it. Love all of it. I am here for it. Okay. Our very good boy needs some little highlights on him too. Like that. We'll put one down there. His tail is probably thumping along, just waiting for a snack. And he would deserve it. They deserve all the snacks. Add a little bit right there. Doop, doop, doop. I think we're good. Yeah, there's all my little highlights. He's using that recliner with the blanket on the arm as a baby card. Totally. Yeah. Switch up the colors. Do this in like pastels. It would be adorable. Like neutrals, even just lighter neutrals, because it's just the theme, with baby stuff. You could do just lighter neutrals, maybe a little pastels, whatever. Perfect little baby card. You could make the little blankie, do a little soft pattern paper. How cute would that be? And then a cute little sentiment. You could do the window with that one. All of it. It would be adorable. It would be an adorable baby card. This would also be a really good one too for like a retirement card. Love it. And when I see Hey Lady, I hear it in my mind in Jerry Lewis voice. The whole Hey Lady thing. Okay, well there's our finished card. Let me zoom in a little bit more. And you can pick a winner for the card. So anyway, so there's our fun little card. And the highlights just gave it, like so. It's just fun, It's just fun. So let me go over there. Yeah, so the whole Hey Lady thing. The reason why it irks me, and I've talked about this in a live. I talked about this, it was a long time ago though. I used to know someone many, many, many years ago, and that's how he always referred to me. He knew my name, my he knew my name, our family, everything. It was a small town, everything else. He did that with all the women. He remembered all the men's names. Always. He referred to everyone, and it would be right in front. And with me, it was always, hey, lady, because he couldn't be bothered. And at the time I was a teenager, and it kind of irked me, and I was just like, and then when I got older and like met other people like that, it just, I don't like it. I don't like it because, yeah, unless I see the person referring, it's like, hey, lady, and then if Chris was on, hey, dude, and they were both of us, but nothing makes me like feminist rage, when they're like, oh, hey, Chris, and hey, lady, and it's like, nope, I don't like it. And in the case of the person that was, being a whatever it was they were trying to do in the chat, they were just being rude, So, especially when the title right below the video you're watching has my name in it. So it's like, no, you're just intentionally being a turd, really. I could use more colorful language, but I choose not to. So, it's a personal irk of mine, but intent, like always, context and intent plays. Which is very hard to get across in a chat and in comment sections. That's why I use a lot of emojis, because I'm always trying to get across that most of the time I'm being sarcastic, silly, because context and intent can get immediately lost in a chat, in a comment section, etc. So there's my rant on hey lady. The next worst thing would be to call you hey Chris's lady. Oh, woe be unto the person who ever attempted to do that. It would be funny, honestly. It would be funny. I would just be like, yeah. It's funny. But yeah. Or even to get well. Yes, like this could totally work for anything, really, And what I love is like, I love all these images. I love all this stuff. And like, I will never not love florals, large florals, floral anything. Will never stop. Can't stop, won't stop. My next card will probably be a floral. I love it. But I also love non-florals. And I really love like architectural type sets. I did those ones with the Altenew set back in, it was like November, whenever it was, and it was stamped images and the stencils, and I loved making those cards so much. And ones like this, like I keep saying, you can just switch up things. You could do pattern paper, change the color combo. It'll change the entire feel of this card. I went with this because it just spoke to me. From this color cube, I was just like, I like it. Just that orange chair, spoke to me, and I was just like, ooh, I like it, But think about like changing up the colors, and you could do like an aqua color for the wall. You could do a yellow chair. That's the fun of it. That's the fun of it. And then, like I was saying, you could do more like soft neutrals or pastels, and it could be a baby card, or this could be a retirement card. And if you knew the person's favorite colors, or if the person happened to have a recliner, you could make it look like their chair. It can be a birthday. It can be an any occasion card, really. And you could leave off the puppy dog and a kitty cat. You could, but who would want to? But you totally could. And then there's those other little elements. There's that little hanging lamp. There was the window. Mix and match, and then those little frames that I was going on about, you could add that instead, because you could have a little frame. The frame, now that my brain's going, those frames would be nice, because if you wanted to make a card for a very specific person, you could print out a smaller photo of that person and frame it and put it on the wall. I need more hours in the day. How fun would that be to give someone a card and it's got like their photo, on it, framed, hanging on the wall with, Yeah. It could be fun. So many things. you know, and there's all sorts of other little like, you know, Waffle has a bunch, but all the other companies like different little plant dyes. So you could have other little plants, maybe other little accessories. And again, pattern paper. So many pattern. Could also run this through like with wood grain. We got wood grains. Got wood grain press plates, wood grain embossing roller, wood grain paper, yada yada. So you could really bring out. Oh, I need more hours in the day. Yeah, a little stack of books. I needed to dig through my stash. I'm sure I probably even have some like a little Waffle, but yeah, a little stack of books would be perfection. You know, so many things, so many things. I love it. I love it. So yeah, like a set like this could work for pretty much anything. Oh yeah, housewarming card, birthday, whatever. You know? Yeah, it could totally work. Mother's Day card with kids and pets in the front. Yeah. Father's Day card. All of it. All of it, man. Like with, and that really does apply to everything within reason, because I do get that a lot, not as much anymore, but like the whole masculine cards, you know, because a lot, and that's been the mentality for so many years, especially like with floral, like, well, I need masculine card ideas because like the floral cards don't work. And it's like, dude, I give him floral cards. Like, or I give him ones with like pastel hearts and gnomes on them. Like I make him all kinds of cards, but it, yeah, I want to fight against that. I don't like the idea of, especially when it comes to color and art and anything, that there's a masculine version and there's a feminine version. One, that was all a bunch of like bookkiss that was invented by corporations to sell us more crap. Colors, like, you know, men can wear pink. Men can like flowers. A lot of them do. A lot of men are gardeners. Like, it drives me nuts. And in card making, especially, cards for everybody. Who cares? Like, pinks and reds and flowers and hearts and all of the things can totally go to dudes as well as girls. You know, guys, gals, the non-binary, all of it. Like, color doesn't define a person or a gender. So that's my little soapbox moment of many soapbox moments. Again, welcome to my lives. uh, do. We have, oh yeah, who's our winner?
Who's our winner?
Yeah.
Kimberly from Texas is a winner.
Kimberly in Texas. Okay. I will be mailing this, and I've been saying it every week. However, all the previous winners, and that was from like November till now, they're ready to go. All those cards, they are filled out in envelopes, addressed. I weighed them. It took me a while. So those, I'm planning on getting it out this week, and I will hopefully be able to stick this one in and get them officially mailed out to all my winners. So I have the stack. I'm not going to show people's addresses, but all the live stream winners are ready to go. Like, they are ready to go.
We just need a post office that doesn't have a giant board in front of it.
Does it still have a board in front of it?
Does.
Well, it's going to take them like those to replace those windows.
Yeah.
Is going to, like, that's going to be an expensive too. And the brickwork.
Yes.
All the brickwork. Yeah. Someone ran into our post office when I was going to go mail stuff, and everyone's okay. We talked about it in another live, but did a bunch of damage to our local post office. And yeah, that was a bit of a setback on all the things, but everything will be good.
It's always interesting when somebody drives into your business.
I know, right?
It's like, well, that happened.
So yeah, yay, Kimberly. Thank you to Unpaid Intern.
Thank you
for helping.
Yep.
Even though you got the wrong links.
That's all right. I fix it. I'll put my hand out.
Thank you to the disembodied hand.
It's barely waving today.
Barely waving. You're just exhausted.
Totally.
Such hard work. You know, sitting at the computer.
That's what I do for 8 hours a day.
I'm glad Pamela didn't win. Oh, she wouldn't have. Y'all, and I've talked about this. I do keep a list. There's a list because over all the years I've been doing this, which has now been, I've been doing online content for close to 20. I forget when I started my original vlog, but over the years, I've had a good chunk of trolls. Varying. Like today, minor, kind of whatever. I'll forget about it in 10 minutes and I won't care. Some minor, some major. And the pattern I started noticing is people that would troll me. And because on the back end, a lot of times I would see names, usernames, email addresses, etc. And those very same people, after saying some very horrendous things to me, or even further than that, whatever, would enter giveaways. Like, to the point where a major troll I had, this was many years ago, and that's what started what we call the blacklist. They were unhinged. It was a situation, and it was nuts. Utterly nuts what the person was saying and accusing, and it was nuts. And I dealt with it. They were completely in the wrong, but I dealt with it and left it at that. And then I was partnered with a brand at the time and did it was a pretty major giveaway. And that exact same person came crawling back and in the comments of that giveaway were like, please, I'm so sorry. And I was like, you chose to give an apology just to be entered in? Are you kidding? I'm like, the audacity. So they are the very first name in the blacklist. And it's been added to. But like I always say, and it is very true, especially in our card making community, very small amount of people that choose to act ridiculous. It is very, very small. So it doesn't really get to me. You know, it'll be annoying, especially when it's during a live, whatever. But I do keep track. And a lot of it just gets blocked, whatever. But yeah, they generally like to turn around and enter giveaways. And I'm just like, hasn't really happened so much for my cards. I don't think the trolls care. But when it's actually something of like monetary value, those type of giveaways, oh yeah. Like, yeah. And to this day, I still have certain ones. They think they're entering, but I have ways to filter out certain types. And they do. They get filtered out. They enter every single giveaway, every one I'm doing, blog hops and those types of things, everything. And they enter every single one still. It's like either they've forgotten that they've been absolutely atrocious to me, but yeah, they get filtered out. They will not win. It is what it is. But card makers, for the most part, are pretty awesome. And every once in a while, someone comes out of the woodwork and chooses to act ridiculous, and we just deal with it and move on. So I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. And oh, yay, Kim, you were loading the dryer. You were being productive. What the heck, man? Laundry. Ew. That was also one of my, not a scare, but we were having issues with our dryer this past week, with just, I had a lot on my plate. Again, I don't talk about my personal life, but I had a lot on my plate this last week, and then the weather and that, contributed to me not getting videos up. And then our dryer started acting up, and y'all, my stress levels were because I was like, I cannot, not now, please, of all the things, cannot deal with this. Rah! But I think there was just a buildup, something. Chris was able to get it working before I had a chance to even deal with it. And yeah, I think I was live for my Patreon members. That's what it was. I was live for my Patreon members, and he came in here and I was like, I'm working. And he's like, I just wanted to let you know, the dryer's okay. And I was like, because he knows I get so anxious and stressed out. And I was like, thank you. I'm so glad. I'm so relieved. Oh my goodness. I'm missing something. Oh, will you be coming to create this year? I don't know. One, nothing has been announced yet about that. They said soon that they'll announce. I have no idea what's going on. I'm not sure if I'm not sure with everything that is going on right now if I would anyway, but I'm also not sure if I'll be able to. Not sure. So that one's like completely up in the air. I look forward to seeing you on the 20th. Yes, I'm doing the live bonus for Altenew on the 23rd for the January. There's an actual specific name for it. And is it Create the Moment? My brain is like not functioning. I have it listed. I'm doing the live bonus for the Craft the Moment little January class. And so, yeah, I will be live with Altenew for the people that signed up for that Craft the Moment class because there's like 2 other instructors. And yeah, that's going to be fun. So that's Friday that I'm doing that because Friday's the 23rd, right? It would help if I looked at what the dates were. Yeah, Friday. So I'm doing that. I'm planning on doing 1 or 2 bonus lives. One bonus live this week. We'll see. I will try to give everyone a heads up. That is the plan because I have a lot to catch up on now because like I said, this past week has been completely bonkers. And okay, so I got that. Yeah, is Create happening this year? Yeah, Create, and that's for those that aren't aware, it's through Simon Says Stamp, and it's an in-person event in Columbus, Ohio. I went, geez, was that 3? That would be 3 years ago now. Was that what it was? 2 years? 3 years? 3 years? Yeah, because I think it was 2023 that I went because I was going to go in 2024 and then everything went sideways and I wasn't able to go. Yeah, I think that was the last time I went. That was my first ever like in-person thing. It was a lot. It was overwhelming. It was really good and I met some amazing people. But yeah, they didn't do one last year and they are planning, and that's all I can say because I don't know. Nothing's been announced. They were planning on doing one this year. So we will see. And I'm just scrolling through the comments here. People. Yeah. Yeah, people are nuts. So, yeah. If Create is a thing, there will be an announcement. We'll see. And yes, I am doing the Secret Garden Retreat with Altenew. That got officially announced 2 days ago. I think that was Friday. It was officially announced. I do have a really good code, like a discount code on that. That's on my YouTube like main channel under the post, and it's also on my Facebook page, which is always linked directly below the videos. I have a really good code for that gets you a chunk off of it. So I'm going to be teaching at that, and that's virtual. So anyone can participate in that one if you purchase the class and the kit or whatever. And then they're doing the Let's Create Together classes instead, aren't they? That's what they did last year. I assume they're going to continue those, the virtual classes that Simon Says Stamp has been doing. But Create is a totally separate thing. Totally separate things. 2 different things. So, yeah. Don't even get me started on major appliances, y'all. This is why I'm working that major appliance. That's why I'm in the garage in our house. Our dishwasher leaked a couple years after we got this house. It was during the pandemic. We're all shut out. Our dishwasher leaked, and it leaked right through into the basement. Like, it was bad, and we had to have. And at the time, my little office space was in the upstairs of our house, but it had the same flooring. So thank like our insurance covered it, but I had to move out of that space so that all the flooring could get ripped up So that's when I had to move out here because we had no other space for me to work out of. And yeah, so I moved out to the garage. We replaced the dishwasher, ripped up all the floors, all the things. The new dishwasher sucks and also probably needs to be replaced and has also caused damage, but not enough to warrant an insurance claim. And I am just beyond fed up, along with like all our major appliances are not functioning and haven't functioned properly for years. And they were all new because, you know, is what it is. But anyway, it sucks. It sucks so much. But yeah. Okay. I had fun. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm going to do the social medias, the photos, all the things. The sale stuff with Waffleflower, not specifically what I used, but just final reminder because it's only for today because they only do these flash sales like on the Sunday. It's linked in the description box below the video, that category and the code, and that's only for today. And at the end of the day, that's over. And it's a ton of their like previous stuff. There's a lot in that sale, so worth checking out. And then yeah, I'll do my photos and social medias, and then just stay tuned. I have a bunch of videos coming for sure now because I have a ton of catching up to do. I plan on doing a bonus live, hopefully one this week. I have a bunch of other things I need to do as well, and then I'm doing that Ultinu live on Friday, but that's for the people that signed up for that Craft a Moment class, which is still available. I'll quickly pop a copy link address. I can pop that into the chat just cause. There we go. Craft. Obviously though, if a person signs up now, they probably wouldn't get the products in time, but the info is there. So there we go. I put it in the chat. And yeah, million things on my plate. What else is? It is what it is. And then yeah, I appreciate you all. I have tons of content coming. I've got 5 million things, 5 million tabs open, heaters blasting, chaos, just pure chaos. But this was fun, and yeah, nothing like getting inspired by some little color combos. Yeah, this was fun. So I appreciate you guys. That's it from me. I am going to get some other work done and probably have something to eat. And I will either see you guys for sure next Sunday at 2 p.m. Central and potentially another time this week, which I will post as much of a heads up as I can when I figure out when I'm able to do it. And then we'll just see. So I will talk to you guys later. Bye. Thank you so much to my amazing Patreon supporters. For anyone that might be interested in joining my Patreon community and supporting me, the link to my Patreon is in the description box below the video. For everyone else, as always, thank you all so much for taking the time to watch my videos, for thumbs upping, commenting, subscribe if you haven't, I'd love to have you. And here's a couple other videos for you to check out in case you missed them. Bye!